All right, we are recording. Welcome everyone to Unlock the Power of ChatGPT. I'm Connie Capiotis. I am the executive director and the founder, actually, of Digital Bridges Pittsburgh. And I'm also the CEO of Full Flavor Leadership, which is my consulting and coaching company. So I am a social impact entrepreneur. I'm a business consultant. I'm a speaker. I've got my hands in a lot of things. Everything I do is positioned at the intersection of technology, people, and how we make those things useful in our lives. So you're going to hear me talk a lot, if you follow me, you hear me talk a lot about skills, strategy, and support that help you get to where you want. Well, today we're really working heavily on that skills piece. And I'm super excited to share about these fun tools. AI is already a part of our lives. This is something that we've all already been using for quite some time. So let's go ahead and jump into what does this terminology mean and what do these programs actually do? You know, there's a lot to learn here, but it's not really as scary as you think. So what is AI and why is it important? The dictionary definition is artificial intelligence is the simulation of human intelligence processes by machines, especially computer systems. So in English, a whole lot of computer programmers have taught these machines how to do the things that we all want to do, right? But computers can do it a lot faster than we can. So we're already using these tools in our lives. So if you use voice to text on your phone or use Google, do the Hey Google and do a voice on Google, it just heard me. That's an example of an AI tool. On social media, algorithms are basically the original AI. It's the original artificial intelligence. And you can even think of Google, the search engine, or Microsoft Bing, which is trying to make a comeback, the search engines as an original form of AI. Now, those are more keyword or phrase based, okay? So the second piece of this is how does it work? So these are language-based models. So what that means is they've taught the computers how to recognize the way people speak. So Google does keywords, right? That's how we were trained. That's how we got used to doing things. You put in keywords or well-thought sentences and phrases, and that is, hold on, let me admit some people. And that is how you get the results. Now, the results in Google gives you multiple sources from the internet that you go in then and read and parse through the sources and then piece together the thoughts and the information. So Google started with words that gives you lots of sources, right? This system is designed to kind of help you skip that section where you've got to go through all the sources. It basically goes through the sources for you and gives you the answer in a language that is human-like. So like if you were having a conversation with an expert, if you wouldn't say to an expert, write chore chart. You would say to an expert, hey, I really need to organize my home. How can I do that? A human expert isn't going to say, well, here's article A, here's article B, here's article C. A human expert is going to say, okay, great. Well, here's my system for clearing out a home. I go through step 1, 2, 3, 4. That's the kind of results that it gives you in ChatGPT. So it's just more language based. In the background on the techie side, it's built on languages that already exist. So pieces of technology that already exist. And it's creating word associations. They call it a token-based system. Unless you're real techie, you don't need to know any of that kind of stuff. What I do want you to understand is ChatGPT specifically is not scraping the internet. ChatGPT is actually, it's not gathering the information directly from the internet. That's what scraping means. What ChatGPT is based on is a data set. So they already collected the information and fed it into the system. That system isn't necessarily looking that system isn't necessarily looking at new information. And they did this data set in 2021. Now they are now updating that. And when we dig into some of these tools and I share everything I have already set up to show you and to play with, you'll be able to see that they are now evolving already these platforms to include sources and to pull more recent information. But originally, ChatGPT was based on just that original big data set from 2021. So one of the biggest takeaways I want you to learn. So if everything else I've said just kind of wasn't necessarily, you get bits and pieces of it, what I want you to understand is, first of all, these things are in their infancy. They are frequently wrong. They give you not great information sometimes. You can tell it to summarize. I've told it to summarize things and it comes back with gibberish that has nothing to do with what I asked it to summarize. So these tools will get smarter as they go. That's how they're designed. They're designed to learn information. But at this point, you kind of got to treat them like a dumb intern. They're going to make a lot of mistakes. They don't always get it right, but they're trying to be helpful. So that is just one of the tips that I want to make sure that I give to you is make sure that that you kind of have yourself prepared to do a lot of fact checking because it's often wrong. Jackie said, I'm dying, dumb intern. That is the best way I can describe it right now, because they can be helpful. They can help you save a ton of time. They also can be completely wrong and really mess you up if you don't know to fact check and you don't know to edit. So you've just got to understand you're still the boss. These are still tools that are in their infancy. They're fun. They're super fun tools. The more I dig into them, I could go down the rabbit hole of these things for days and days on end because they're fun to play with. And they do have quite a bit of practical applications. So let's continue and let's talk about some of those applications. So these are just a few ideas on the screen. There are virtually limitless ways that you can make use of this technology, and there are virtually limitless tools. Like ChatGPT is tip of the iceberg. There are tons of these, and every time I look at my computer right now, every time I look at the news, new ones are popping up, and there's new things that you can do with them. So this is a very rapidly evolving technology. I think the best way to use it is brainstorming. It can be great to help you come up with ideas, especially those of us that are working in business or are creating content on a regular basis. That has been one of the ways that it has really helped me to save time. It's helped me to save time with copywriting. It's helped me to save time with social media posts. There are so many things that you can do with it. You can create art. You can write. It can be fiction. It can be nonfiction. There are virtually unlimited things that you can do to start brainstorming and creating content. And I think that's one of the most fun things that I've had playing with these tools is especially between either ChatGPT or copy.ai, and then using that alongside the tools that Canva has created and tools like Bulk Create in Canva. I can get a month or so of social media content created in probably about an hour, hour and a half to create things like simple quotes, things that are highly visual. Some of these tools are really it can make you so much more efficient. And I think that's where the beauty of them lies right now, especially because they are in the infancy and because they do get things so wrong sometimes. Use it for time saving for things like brainstorming and content. If you've got an artist in you, you can do all kinds of fun things with creating art. And I am gonna demo a bunch of this. So I'm talking right now. but in just a few minutes, I'm going to change my screen over. I'm going to show you what we're talking about, and we're going to play with it. Monica, yes, absolutely. The stuff you would give an intern to do, stuff that can save you time, but is not necessarily going to be damaging to your business. And you want to make sure you get an eye on it before it goes out the door. So that intern analogy really is just the best way to describe it. I used it to create an agenda. I'm holding a board meeting tomorrow night for Digital Bridges Pittsburgh. I used it to create an agenda for that. Lots of fun stuff. And on the advanced side, if you are into things like coding, it can help you write code. So this is going to make web people much more efficient. This is going to make people that write in these languages and create these digital pieces much more efficient in their jobs. So lots and lots of fun tools, lots of things you can do. But like an intern, you've got to finesse it. And just like anything that is new, you've got to know some tips and tricks. So just to get you started, there are some differences between the free version and the paid version. Honestly, unless you're going to be doing big coding or something like that, you can use the free version, and the free version is just fine, especially on ChatGPT specific. Play with that free version to your heart's content. If you really feel like you need to spend the $20 and get those couple extra features, go ahead and do so. If you, the free version runs on ChatGPT 3.5. They are now using ChatGPT 4 on the paid version. And again, I'm going to show you all of this in a minute. But you can also access ChatGPT 4 for free using Internet Explorer. And Internet Explorer is the only place that you can access ChatGPT 4 for free. Microsoft has invested heavily in ChatGPT, like super heavily. So that is the reason that ChatGPT and Microsoft Internet Explorer are so tight together, because Microsoft has very heavily invested in that company. So there are some differences between the free and the paid version. The way to do this and get the best out of it, the key to this, remember, it used to be keywords. We got real good at picking what words we put into the search engine. Well, now it's about prepping the chat. So we want to tell it what we want it to do. So if you just tell it, write me a social media post, it's going to give you information. If you tell it, write a social media post for a realtor in the South Hills of Pittsburgh in springtime, it's going to give you a completely different result. So what we're going to do here in a few minutes, after I kind of give you these basics, is we're going to do some kind of improv style. I'm going to have everybody go in the chat as you want to and give me little things we can prompt out, and we're going to test it here and play with it here live together, because that is the best way to learn these tools, is to get in and start using them. So I at least want to give you all a taste of that today. Like I've said a million times, these tools are frequently wrong. Editing is a must. Again, we're thinking of this as an intern. We got to make sure we check its work before we put anything out for the public. So edit, 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 fact check, fact check, fact check. Great tools, but again, intern level. We want to make sure that we're getting things out the other side that are quality. So other AI tools. I could do an entire day on all of these tools. Bard is Google's version of ChatGPT. Copy AI is a free copywriting focused model that is based on ChatGPT. Jasper.ai is also a copywriting model based on ChatGPT. That one does not have a free version. One that we're going to play with here in a minute, just because it's fun, is called supermeme.ai. If you're doing content creation for social media and you want to create memes, this can be a really fun way to go about it and save you time of searching for photos and searching for and thinking of things to put. You put in an idea, we'll play with these. You put in an idea and it brings you up a whole bunch of different options, and it's super fun and can be really funny, especially if you have a little bit of a dark side. And then the other one I wanted to introduce you to is Photor.com. Photor.com is a text-based image generator. Again, we'll look at this real briefly here. And it creates art or images based on what you tell it to do. Photor.com also has quite a bit, or maybe it was prompt-based I'm looking at. A lot of these companies have education pieces to them. So as we go through these websites here in a minute, I want you to take note that we can also learn more about these things for free online, and it's all very accessible. How are we feeling, guys? Give me some indications here in the chat. Is this helpful? Is this making sense? If I'm losing you, please make sure you tell me and I'll go back and clarify. Go ahead and make sure you're using that chat as much as possible. All right, so sample useful prompts. These are just a couple of ideas thank you, Heidi. These are just a couple of ideas to get us started. Super base level things, right? Planning for your kid's birthday party will now take you a fraction of the time. It can give you ideas on party themes. It can help you prepare a list of things to shop for. There's a lot of different ways that you can deploy it just for planning a child's birthday party. Writing a blog post, creating a chore chart. Yes, Nikki, I can absolutely send these. Slides forward to everybody. I am also recording this, and I'm going to make sure I send the recording to everybody. I know I talk a little fast sometimes, so I want to make sure everybody can go back and get all the juicy goodness. Lots of different ways to use these things to your advantage, okay? So here's a case study. To create this presentation today, I leaned on ChatGPT. So I thought it would be fun. I thought it would be fun to see what ChatGPT did with creating a class about itself, right? So I went in and I told ChatGPT that we were creating a class called Unlock. In fact, the title came from ChatGPT, Unlock the Power of AI and ChatGPT. I'm like, okay, I like that one. We're going to run with it. It wrote the course description for me. I had it write an outline. I've worked with it on social media posts and emails. So all of those things, I have it create the content in ChatGPT. Then I copy the text and I put it in a Word doc. I edit it to sound a little bit more like me, to frame it a little more like what I wanted. Like the outline it gave me, it was a good outline, but there were things in my human brain that I wanted to share with you all that the automated ChatGPT didn't pick up on. So I took its first draft and we edited it, just like you would an intern, right? Then I really jumped into researching and testing of these tools. And when I say I dove in, like down the rabbit hole we went, I really had a good time with that. I then edited my outline one more time. I used Canva to create images for the social media posts. And then I used Canva, again, has a doc to deck feature that they just started. So you create a doc, and you click their doc to deck feature in Canva, right? So then it gives you a doc, and you put your titles in for your titles of the slide, and you put in your content for the slide. So you build out what would be basically my outline is what I used. And then you click convert, and it creates a presentation for you. So I then used those pieces to create this. It took me probably half the amount of time that it would usually take me, because I would typically have to think about the outline very heavily, get that all out on paper, let that sit and really, go back again. It took a fraction of that time. Then going in and having to lay out all the pieces, again, doing it through this method took a fraction of the time. Now there is a little bit of a learning curve. Anytime you're going to use a new tool, it's not going to be, you're not going to get it right the first time. There's a little bit of a learning curve putting these together, depending on how fluent you already are in Canva and things of that nature. But if you need tutorials on Canva and to get up to speed on that, let me know. I can send you all kinds of resources on that. Go to YouTube. go to YouTube and type in whatever it is that you want to learn about. There are some really good people doing some really good content on how to use Canva, how to use ChatGPT, how to use these things to make yourself more productive. And most of those videos are fairly short. So you can continue learning this very readily. It's very easy to find sources to continue learning this. So I did write a script in ChatGPT to match the outline. I don't personally find scripts particularly helpful. I find my outline is all I really need to be able to do class. But if you are one that likes to have a script, it did a fine job of the script. It just needed a little bit of editing. And then you edit that script and you're ready to go. So I created this whole presentation. It probably would have taken me about 3 to 4 hours total to do all of this. Originally, it probably took me about 2, if that. Laura, awesome. I will email out some Canva resources when I email out the slides and the recording. Okay, I'll make sure I do that. Is paid Canva worth it? Absolutely. Is there a ChatGPT app? Okay, there are versions of ChatGPT. There are versions of that kind of software in app form. Some of them have free options. A lot of them are paid. I find the desktop version to be better, like the actual OpenAI to be better. Yeah, Canva is the ball, Maria. I agree with you. Canva, like I said, between Canva and ChatGPT, the amount of time I spend on my marketing has gotten just dramatically less, which is amazing. And as an entrepreneur that is always stretched, anything I can do to reduce that amount of time that I have to spend is just incredible. All right, we're great on time. All right, let's talk about drawbacks and concerns, and then we'll jump into the fun playtime, okay? So drawbacks and concerns about ChatGPT. Number 1, this technology is making it easier and easier to create what's called deep fakes. So that means images that look like pictures of people, but it's not really them. Songs that sound like it's a particular artist, but it's not really them. And that can be dangerous because you can make it look like anyone said anything in any place at any time. So I think that as these tools continue to evolve, and I've felt this way for a long time with social media and the internet in general, we really have to value truth and verification. Social media alone is a place where you can be anonymous and hide behind fake profiles, and it wreaks havoc. Deep fakes is just the next level of that, and creating videos and sounds and whatnot of people that aren't you. It can either be fun or it can be dangerous. And it's the dangerous side that we're going to have to watch out for. And in my mind, that means truth and verification is going to continue to be super, super important, and even more important as these tools continue to evolve. We can't really afford to have a society where everything is opinions and fake and all of that. We have to value truth. The second thing is errors. I think I've emphasized that enough today. Again, fact check this. These things are in their infancy. They are often wrong. So errors are definitely a concern. There's always the danger of bad actors, people wanting to create bombs, people wanting to do bad things. One of the things that gives me a little hope is at least I'm hearing from most of the heads of these companies that they are taking a lot of this into consideration, and they are trying to put preventative measures in place. If you go on there right now and ask it to tell you how to build a bomb, it'll tell you that it can't do that. It's actually easy. It would actually be easier to figure out how to build a bomb on Google than it would be on ChatGPT right now. So that's not a terrible thing, but it is something that we have to be aware of. The more information that's available, the more those bad actors can have access to that information. So we have to be aware and we have to be protective. In my world, where I do a lot of teaching and training about technology, I do a lot of work with businesses. My concern is the digital divide. So what that means is there's a couple different levels to the digital divide. Technology is outpacing the human ability to adapt. So technology is getting faster at this rate. Humans can only keep up at this rate. So it's getting faster than we're able to keep up. Just put into perspective the fact that I'm coming to you from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, okay? One of the biggest metropolitan areas in the United States. 30 minutes from where I'm sitting, there are people that can't get reliable access to the internet. And access is just step one. From access, you have to build a bridge to understanding. From understanding, you have to build a bridge to usefulness. So we've got people in one of the richest countries, one of the most forward countries in the world that can't even gain access. And these tools are continuing to evolve at a much faster and faster rate. Now, in my opinion, these tools could shrink the digital divide, but it's a big if. It's going to depend on whether or not we deploy these tools in a way that is equitable and fair. And who is making those decisions? So for example, if this is a language model, whose language is it based on? Are we including dialects? Are we including the way different people speak in different regions? Just think about Southern Louisiana. This is one of my favorite examples to use. The accent in Southern Louisiana, the dialectal pattern of speech is so dramatically different from the way I'm speaking to you right now. Would ChatGPT understand it? That I would really be interested to dig in with people that do have those dialectal differences and see how it responds to different things. Of course, this brings up all the questions about access, inclusivity, both in the programming. What does it understand? Whose eyes are telling it what to understand and what to think? Different perspectives are going to look at things differently, as well as the access issue that I was talking about initially. This could close the divide, or it could make it dramatically worse. And right now it's a free-for-all. It's very capitalistically driven. You have to take into consideration what we're seeing here and what's being done in other countries. So there are all kinds of questions that'll need to be answered as we go along and as the tools evolve about how are we going to adapt? How is our government going to adapt? Our government is created to be slow moving and difficult to change, and we're dealing with technologies that are extremely rapidly moving and change constantly. So there's a little bit of a dichotomy there about how is our government going to respond to these things, especially when most of the people running our government could stand to take this class and quite a few other ones that I have, because they're not particularly digitally literate. So you've got to make considerations about, okay, so now we've got people that are going to make decisions about how we use these tools, but do they even understand them themselves? So lots of questions to be answered. What does that boil down to? So I just talked a lot of rhetoric about where are we headed. So are we headed for Westworld? Are the robot demon overlords coming to get us? Maybe, not anytime soon. These tools are in their infancy. The language-based models on their own obviously aren't dangerous because they're non-moving. When you combine it with robotics and some of the things that I see happening here in Pittsburgh in robotics, I know what they show to the public at the National Robotics and Engineering Center. I've taken classes there. I know some folks that work over there. I know what is front-facing. I can only imagine what's going on behind closed doors. The Hazelwood Green is developing, it has some development projects and whatnot going on. There are projects out, not out in Moon that are going on around robotics. When you combine these two, that's when it's going to become questionable because they'll be more independent and action-based, but we're nowhere near that. These tools are very, very, very far from that. We're still working on autonomous driving and things of that nature. So do you need to be worried right now? No, but we do need to be asking the questions because they are rapidly evolving. So it needs to be a conversation, but you can also still sleep it. That is at least my take on it. There are others that may disagree with me, but that is my take. Things to keep an eye on, fun tools to use right now, taking them with a grain of salt. So let's go ahead. I don't want to jump into those poll questions just yet. We're going to jump into playtime. Ivo asked, what best advice can you give to recognize deep fakes? Let's look at like Photor and stuff. And when you look at AI pictures, to me, they still look kind of faked. You know what I mean? They still look almost like airbrush. Remember airbrush painted sweatshirts from like the 80s and 90s, and we all had to have them. To me, these AI generated images almost have a bit of an airbrushed look. As far as other ways to validate, I honestly can't even fully answer that. It's kind of an eye thing and then verifying information. So if you see something, look for other sources of it. Does that make sense? So even just looking at the news, my recommendation is always to get more than one source to verify the information. And that is going to be probably the best way to verify if something that you saw is real or something is fake, is to see if, what other sources are saying. What are other sources reporting on? Is there discord between what's being said? Does one source say this? Does one source say the opposite? So again, you would evaluate that red flag a little bit differently. So if one source says, you know, this image is completely real and it's completely legit, but there's 6 other reputable sources saying this is a fake, I would go with the 6 sources that are reputable that say this is a fake. Does that make sense? We gotta be able to do some critical thinking and some additional fact checking about what we see. So let's go ahead and play. So this is the screen that you go to and that you go to when you first log in for ChatGPT. It's openai.com. Okay, so we start here and it talks about a little bit about ChatGPT. They've got a whole bunch of other products that do different things. Like DALL-E 2 is an image generator. So it's a paid one, so I'm not going to play with that one today. But it's another version of an image generator. We're going to play with Photor. You go down here and click try ChatGPT. They do make you give a login. So, I mean, you're just going to give them like your email address, the standard stuff for creating an account on someone else's platform, just like you would social media, that kind of thing. When you click try ChatGPT and you give it your information, it then logs you in. Okay, so we are logging in. Now I did upgrade to the plus version, the paid version, because I wanted to see what would be different. What is different visually is this piece here is not on the free version. The free version is always the 3.5 right now. So if we want to play with that default model, we can play with that default model right here. The original legacy model is here, and it even tells you what are the differences, like the reasoning, the speed, the conciseness. So if we look at ChatGPT 3.5, it's got a 3 on reasoning, a 5 on speed, and a 2 on conciseness. Now you come down to ChatGPT 4, the reasoning has gotten much better. The speed is slower, newer tool, it's still learning, so that tracks, that makes sense. And conciseness has gotten better as well. So since most of us are going to be on the free version, we're going to play around with what would be the free version, the default. And we can even go side by side. I have ChatGPT 4 open on one screen over, so we can even compare results. The cost, Heidi, is $20 a month. So, you know, not terrible, but not, you know, nothing either. And it really depends, like I said, it really depends on how advanced you want to get with this. So some examples that I've already created. I did child's birthday party ideas. So the first thing I said was help me brainstorm ideas for a child's birthday party. Kept it real simple like that, right? Of course. I like that it answers me with like little pieces like the of course, that's cute. Here's a list of fun and creative ideas for a child's birthday party. Superhero, whole list, fairy tale princess, art. So it gave me a pretty good list of 10 here. And then it even gives me a prompt at the bottom. Remember to consider the age of the birthday child or their interests and ask for special requests or accommodations. So good advice, right? And it's given me a bunch of things to think about. So then I said, just for fun, I said, this party is for a 9-year-old girl that loves motorcycles. Give me some ideas around that. It says, that's a fun and unique theme. Here are some ideas for a motorcycle themed birthday party for a 9-year-old girl. And there we go. Now we've got 10 different ideas that are motorcycle themed and some ideas on how to personalize it. So cool. It probably would, I mean, I probably could have come up with quite a bit of this myself. And there's a couple things in here that made me go, oh, that's a good idea. I like that one. So this basically took my brain, what would have taken my brain hours to sit down and think about and brainstorm, and it dumped it out for me and made it super easy. I wanted it to tell me its sources, and it wouldn't tell me its sources. That's one of the things about the current technology that bothers me, but there are ways to enhance this. So for example, I created 2 profiles of this because I wanted to see what I could make it do. On my other account, I installed a Chrome extension, which is like an app for your Google Chrome. And that allows it to actually scrape the internet and pull additional sources and tell me its sources. So there are already ways to enhance this so that you get better results. We're just starting right here with the real basic one. So let's play with it a little bit. Somebody give me an idea. Let's go improv style. What's something that you would want to have GPT give you an idea for, or something that you want to learn about? It's great for if there's something that you want to learn about. What are some ideas that you might use in your life? Okay, I'll keep sharing. How would it work with resume creation? Sherry, that's a really good question. I think resume creation, you would probably have to really either really prep it or give it like have an already done resume and have it edit it, but it's gonna have a hard time pulling, like it can't pull from your LinkedIn profile, for example. So it wouldn't, I don't think you could say, create a resume for this LinkedIn profile, although let's try it. In fact, let's go over to 4, since 4 is the most accurate. So now we're on ChatGPT 4. Let me grab my LinkedIn. I love doing this live stuff. Darlene, I see yours. I'll do an article about real estate trends in just a minute, and we'll do fundraisers. I think I might even have fundraisers already primed, Virginia, because I was playing with that myself the other day. So if we just go in here real quick, I'm going to grab the link to my own LinkedIn profile. Can you create a resume for this? If I can type LinkedIn profile. Paste my link. Let's see what it does. Nope. Yeah, that's what I thought it was going to say. It's not able to like pull from LinkedIn, so that won't be something that you could do. But however, if you provide the information about the person, they can create the resume. So it can either create the resume, or I would use it to edit. I would use it to take an older resume and tell it to update it, or tell it to make it more compelling. One of the things that I'll often do when I'm using it to brainstorm about content is I'll tell it, make this more compelling, or let's see, on 3.5. Make it more compelling, or make this more friendly, or make this sound more professional. You can tell it what kind of tone to use, and it'll give you different text back. So let's write an article. What programming languages do you need to learn? Oh, let's ask it that, Sean. Is that what you're saying? Okay, let's write an article. Please, let's start with this one. Write an article about real estate in the Pittsburgh market. There you go. So that took 10 seconds. All right, so there's your article. Now, Darlene, you could then take this and turn this, make this a little more Darlene-ish, you know what I mean? Put some of your own phrases in there, edit it out. You're going to know more nuances about the Pittsburgh market than ChatGPT is. So you could throw in some of those nuanced things that you know that it doesn't, but there's a basis for an article in like 30 seconds, not even. Let's see. All right, let's do a unique fundraising event. Give me ideas for a unique fundraising. Virtual talent show. That sounds like fun, actually. All right, here we go. Game night's always a fun one. Celebrity cook-off. I was thinking about doing a chili cook-off. Y'all gonna come to my chili cook-off? Chili or barbecue? How do you know that you're not plagiarizing someone else's words? Because it's not pulling directly from those sources. It's kind of collaborating sources and putting things in. So it's not pulling direct quotes. Does that make sense? It's pulling different ideas and different thoughts and putting it together, which is a very human way to do things. And what makes it unique? 90% of what most of us do isn't completely unique. Somebody else has had these thoughts or shared these theories or something along those lines along the way. So kind of take it with that kind of grain of salt, so to speak, and how it can do it. So let's see. Sean, let's see, what programming languages do I need to learn? Now, this may be a good one where it would be good to prep it a little bit more, but let's give it just that basic question. All right, very good. I like the way it answered this. It depends on your goals. So it's saying the program languages you should learn depend on your goals and what you want to accomplish. Here's some suggestions based on common uses of programming. So there you go. And then you could tell it, teach me more about, let's say, HTML. And it'll dig in and it'll tell you more about that. Can you teach me how to code? All right, it gives you general tips to get started. Now, it is only going to give you general tips to get started. To learn a skill as deep as something like coding, you're going to want to seek other sources and other ways to do that. Brian said, so with an old resume, where do you put the link, or do you copy all the resume into the message? I would copy the resume into the message. I don't think it's going to be very good at reading things right now. I played with that yesterday for a while, trying to have it summarize things, trying to have it summarize videos, even trying to have it summarize pages. It's not very good at that yet. Once or twice it was right, more often than not it was wrong. So I would put it in, I would copy it and put it in, or even go section by section, rewrite, we're writing a resume, give it some of the basic information, give it the description that already exists and say, rewrite this description. Does that make sense? All right, can you use Chrome or do you need to use Explorer for your browser? Virginia, that's a really good question. You can use any browser because it's web-based. So you're going to their website. So you can go to their website from any web browser, whether that's Firefox, Chrome, Internet Explorer, and then you log into their site and use there. Now, one of the other things I want to show you here, and let's bring this one up. This is Internet Explorer, and I signed up for Bing's version of ChatGPT. So that's what you see here on this right-hand side, where it says Chat, Compose, and Insights. And I'm actually kind of digging this. I may start using Internet Explorer more and more because this is built right in here. There are extensions that will do this in Chrome. It's been hit or miss. Sometimes the extensions work, sometimes they don't. So this gives you the best it has you turn on whether you want it to pull sources from the internet. I did tell it yes. So now down here is where we can ask it anything again. How do you work? I can ask it how it works. When I receive something you've written, I do a few things to help you. First, there you go. Let's look at your text to see if it's something I can handle. I use an AI model to generate a response that tries to match your intention. I can recall things you said earlier in the conversation for a short time to help you understand. So like that text thread, those threads we were picking, it'll continue to learn as you continue to prompt it more. Helpful there? So that's what it looks like in Internet Explorer, just right in the browser. That's probably even the easiest way to do it. Then you don't even have to go to the website. I just bring up OpenAI and have their website up, and then I'll bring up Canva and work, simultaneously with the two. So let's look at this fun one. Create supermeme.ai. If you're creating content for social media and you want it to be a little bit witty, you want to have some fun with it, this is a great tool. The text to meme, let's play with this. The real estate market in Pittsburgh on a Monday. Let's see what it comes up with. Oh, it doesn't like that one. See, they're not perfect. Doesn't like that one. Can I show you how this integrates with Canva? So what we would do to make this work with Canva, you would create the content and then go into Canva. So yes, let's go in. Let's do this. Let's close Supermeme for now. I can always go back into that if we want to play with it later. Let's go back to ChatGPT. We've got 7 minutes left, guys. So when all right, let's say write a blog post, or let's not do a blog post, a social media post about, let's see, give me a topic about dog training. Okay, so there we go, 30 seconds. It wrote me a real quick little social media post about that. So now let's go to Canva and create the image. Go here. We'll pick an Instagram photo, but we'll just grab an Instagram post to make this simple. So now we're creating the image. We created the text piece of social media. Now we're going to create the image piece. All right, so we've got 3 options here. We can either create from scratch, we can create using one of Canva's templates, or we can create using Canva's AI model, which they admit is not perfect. Can it summarize what determines weather? Yes, I'm sure it can. We'll bounce back to that in a minute here. But I'm sure it can summarize what determines weather, because that would be information that would come from an existing data set. I don't know that it would be able to analyze current weather, but it would be able to give you general information. It would be able to give you general information about what generates weather patterns. Is the Internet Explorer chat the same as OpenAI.com? Yes. The Internet Explorer chat is actually a little better than the free version of OpenAI.com because the Internet Explorer version is actually ChatGPT 4. The internet version at OpenAI.com that's free is ChatGPT 3.5. All right, let's play with that. Let's play with that text to image. Yes, I will. Now I'll definitely be sending the session, and I'm going to be. It is recorded. Yes, I'll be sending it, and I do think I'm going to run it again. This was a really, really popular one. All right, so this is Canvas text to image. The example that we were playing with was dog training. So let's create an image of, let's see, a dog being trained outside in a grassy field. Pretty simple, right? We'll give it kind of a softball here. Again, these are in their infancy, so see what it gives us. Okay, that's not terrible. Yeah, that's not terrible at all. So here's one that you can see at least part of their human. You could pop this right in here. Bring this up big to fit. Plug your logo in here and a headline. So let's see, what did it tell it to say? Importance to have a well-trained pup. So we could just call this the importance of dog training. So let's real quick add some text. Let's move up there. Let's make it a color that's actually visual or actually visible. Make it bigger. Let's just, for the sake of argument, add a logo because the marketer in me cannot create anything without putting a logo on it. So you can see how I create my my quote images. Tag your logo down here at the bottom. Now you'd want to play with this and make it a little more graphic than this. I'm just doing this for the example. So here we go, and there we go. Now your image is ready. Now from here, you have two options. You can either download this image as the image out of Canva, copy the text out of ChatGPT, paste it into Facebook or whatever platform you want to put it on, or you can schedule it if you have the pro version right out of Canva. So let's say this was something that I wanted to put on my digital bridges page, which I do have. We are testing ChatGPT in class. We just created this campaign using ChatGPT and then we paste our text. It even gave you the hashtags, and then I can publish this now or I can schedule it. I'm not going to because it's a little bit, well, you know what, whatever, let's do it. Let's see what it looks like. So you can see this. Or it's not gonna work. I think my computer's just a little bogged down right now. Well, you should click publish now and it should work. Like I said, I think thank you, Monica. I think this is just a little bogged down right now, but of course, doing a live demo, it doesn't want to publish. It would typically publish this and it would go straight to my Instagram. So whenever Canva decides to stop being frozen, that's what you would do, or you can go in and put it in manually. Or if you use something like Hootsuite, you could load it into Hootsuite. However you go ahead and post those. So are we getting value out of this? We are at time. So if you have to hop off, go ahead. Real quick before we go, I'm going to show one or two quick little tools here if you do want to hang out. If you have to go, I totally understand. You know what I do want to do? If you have one more second, let me, I would like to get everybody to answer a couple questions for me. So let me go ahead and launch the poll here quick. Just two real quick questions here. I will go ahead and send this all out. Now, based on what we learned here today, would you be interested in participating in a workshop or a retreat implementing these tools? And if you were going to attend a workshop or a retreat where we really dig in and start using them and editing with them and laying content in, writing business plans, all that fun stuff where we really implement, how long would you want that implementation to be? So half day, full day, 2-day treat, longer. Love it to those of you that are like, give me all the Connie. Love it. Really, maybe, but not enough. Yeah, I actually, Linda, that's kind of funny that you said that. I specifically did not include maybe because I didn't want people to waffle. Maybe is always an option. Sean, no more YouTube videos. Thank you. All right. So look, okay, everybody's in on doing this, and it looks like we're mostly half day, couple full days, 2-day. Okay, so we've got a little bit of Maria, good to see you, honey. Have a good day. All right, let's real quick here before we lose everybody. I just want to show you two more things that are kind of fun. There are places that you can go to get pre-written prompts. This one is Prompt Hero. This is the one that I was thinking of that has the academy that has all of these different things that you can learn about AI built in right here. You can go in here for free and get pre-written prompts. And then again, the better you make the prompts, the better your information back is going to be. So this gives you different ChatGPT prompts. Let's say articles about real estate, since that was like our theme for the day. No results. Let's say articles. Journalist. I want you to act as a journalist. You'll report on break. That's interesting. Here we go. I need help writing an article about air pollution in major cities around the world. You could copy this, plug that into ChatGPT. There's your prompt. There is another one called promptbase.com, which is actually a marketplace of prompts. You have to pay for them, but it's only a couple of bucks that you can buy and set. You can even write these and then sell them on here. So promptbase.com is a marketplace for buying or selling prompts. So if you don't want to write these things yourself and you just want to spend a couple bucks to buy some, you can absolutely do that through that website. And then the last thing we'll play with here today is Photor. Photor is similar to like Midjourney or Dolly. It's a text to image generator. And you can put like anything in here. So these are some examples of art that people have created using this tool. So this prompt was an astronaut resting on Mars in a beach chair, vibrant lighting, elegant, highly detailed, smooth. Do you see how they gave it lots of descriptive words? Detailed, smooth, sharp focus, illustration, beautiful, geometric. And that's how it got to that. So let's just say we don't give it that much. Let's do an astronaut resting on Mars. So if we just give it an astronaut resting on Mars, fast mode is definitely subjective. This is what it gives us. Now we could add to this. Make him sitting in on a rocket. Oh, I would have to buy more credits. So you only get a couple of them a day, but it's fun. This can be fun to play with. It can be useful. You can combine these tools. Those are the things that I want you to take away from this is you can combine these tools and you can make them useful for you. So I'm going to go ahead. Let's end this poll. Yes, we're all in. Let me go ahead and stop my share so I can see everybody's beautiful faces a little bit better here as we're wrapping up. Does anybody have any other questions while we're here? Is there anything else I can go over? Thoughts, opinions? I love the feedback. Hi, Marianne. All right. All right, guys, looks like we are in the clear. I don't see this. Oh, Monica says, excellent, dipping the toe in the water you were looking for. Wonderful, good. Love it. Oh, thank you so much, Monica. I appreciate that. Okay, Darlene, did you get something out of this? Darlene, I want to hear your feedback. You text me, girl, because I want to hear if I want. I knew you were worried about this being over your head. Thank you so much, everybody. I am going to go ahead and end this. Thank you. Awesome. William, hi, nice to meet you. Everybody have a great day, and I will see you all very soon, okay? Love you, love you. Bye, everybody. Mwah.